For a long time, I thought consistency meant never missing a day, keeping the streak alive. It meant doing it day in and day out, no matter what, even when I was stressed, when I was just tired, when I was exhausted, all of the above. And I would tell myself if I couldn't actually do this and be consistent with this one project, then I just wasn't disciplined enough. And that's actually what led me to burnout. So I had to rethink my strategy, and I had to rethink and readjust what consistency actually meant for me. I used to think consistency was just never breaking that chain, right? Daily streaks, it was daily habits, had to be every single day. And when I started to be consistent in my own way or in that definition of consistency, it felt forced. And when I was being consistent, it felt good for a while. But the moment I missed a day, that's when everything kind of crumbled. That's when you really felt that pressure. You felt that need to just give up because, well, you missed a day, which in my mind meant, yeah, I failed this. I'm done. Now I have to start over and be consistent on another day. So for me, it's consistency stopped being something that I could use for my own benefit, and it started turning into something that I had to prove to myself and maybe even to others. And it weighed me down. Having to force that consistency on me, on myself, was tiring, exhausting. And eventually that's what burnout taught me. Burnout, in a way, kind of stopped me in my tracks and told me, hey, this isn't working. This isn't being consistent. This is actually unhealthy. What forcing consistency really did to me was I started to see growth as pressure. It was just pressure in the back of my mind. It made habits feel heavy. It turned things that were supposed to help me into obligations, things I had to do. And so eventually what that did was that made me lose trust in myself, and it just, in a way, it just depressed me. It brought me down, and it made me think a lot. Why can't I just stick with anything? Why do I always fall off, doing this? Why can't I just be consistent? It's not really a discipline problem. That's more of a sustainability problem. And that's when I started to realize I was ignoring what I was feeling. That exhaustion, that feeling tired, that stress, it was a signal. It was telling me that this type of consistency was not working out for me. So I realized I wasn't really failing because I lacked the willpower. I was failing because I was building a system that was going against me. And I kept pushing against the current instead of creating a system that would help me flow and help me grow calmly without that stress, without forcing that consistency. And what I learned from consistency, and I've said this before, it's not never stopping. Consistency more, and the way I see it now, is returning. Okay, if you miss a day and break that streak, that doesn't mean you're abandoning yourself. That doesn't mean, okay, you're done, you failed, quit. No. Consistency actually, to me, looks a bit different now. It means showing up. It doesn't have to be every day, just show up. Some form of progress is progress. And consistency is showing up. That's it. Whether it be once a week, twice a week, that's progress. That is consistency. It's not an everyday thing. And that doesn't mean that erases all the progress I've done before. In a way, it's protecting it. Because I'm being consistent with it, Not every day, but at an honest pace, at a pace that doesn't burn me out. It doesn't take me to the extreme, it doesn't push my limits. I'm calmly, slowly building. That's consistency, that's progress. So now instead of forcing that consistency, I'm kind of experimenting with a couple of things. I'm definitely focusing on smaller goals, smaller commitments, flexible expectations. I'm being honest with my pacing. I'm taking it one day at a time. So I ask myself these things. Can I do this without resenting it? Can I return to this calmly if I miss a day? If the answer is no to those questions, then I adjust. I have to get my mind acclimated to the new situation. Now, this doesn't mean I have everything figured out, because I really don't. I'm still learning how to find balance in my life with consistency, balancing discipline with compassion, balancing structure with flexibility. I'm balancing ambition with sustainability. And all of this obviously takes time, and I've been learning a lot these couple of days, these past weeks. But one thing I have learned most definitely is that forced consistency that I used to follow, that eventually led me to feeling burnt out, I'm not chasing that anymore. I've adjusted myself. I see this consistency as something completely new. I've adjusted it for my life. And that's interesting, because when you don't force that consistency, when you take a step back, you slow down, at least what I've noticed in myself, consistency becomes a part of you. Funnily enough, you start being consistent, sometimes even without noticing it. It's happened to me these past few weeks. I feel more consistent with the work I'm doing with this channel now, because I'm not forcing it. I'm listening to my feelings. I'm listening to how I feel that day, my mood, if I need to take a step back, if I'm feeling stressed, if I need to take a walk, if I need to do some exercise. I do that to kind of bring my stress levels down, not force anything. And interestingly enough, when I start trusting myself with this process, I keep showing up. That's consistency. Not forcing it, allowing it to happen. And it could be that you're struggling with consistency. Again, like I've mentioned before, it's not laziness. It's not that you're broken. It goes back to the same idea. You're just tired. You're tired of the system you built around yourself. And that system is forcing this consistency in you. So now what we have to do, what I'm continuing to do down this journey, adjusting. Now you have to adjust. Now you have to change the way you think about, in this case, consistency. Instead of forcing it on you, redefine that consistency in yourself. And again, as I continue to learn, because this is a whole process, I will continue to share what I find with you all. If you've made it this far in the video, I thank you so very much for stopping by, for listening to me ramble for a few minutes. And I hope you got some value out of this. I really do. If this is something that resonated with you, leave me a comment. What are you working on? Is consistency something that you do struggle with? Let me know. Let's talk about that, But I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I hope you and yours are well. I will see you in the next one.